We met, was 3 years ago?
Was it?
Longer
than that. Yeah.
It was the first Wolfmother North American tour, and I was working on this album, Slew, with my friend Dylan Frombach in Seattle, and he went and saw them at a free tequila night at their first Seattle show, and ended up doing lights for the show.
Which surprisingly had a really good vibe.
Yeah, lights. So he called me right after the gig, and he said, "You got to check out Wolfmother when they get to Montreal." And serendipitously enough,
you were
afternoon,
getting tickets.
I went down to get tickets when they got to Montreal, and they were standing outside the club, super lost, looking for some good place to eat. So that's where we met, outside the club. I was like, "Aren't you guys in the band?"
We just started talking music, and you were asking about like the organ tones and bass tones and stuff, and we were about to sound check.
Yeah.
So it's like, "Look, come and hang out for the sound check, and we'll show you some stuff." And then you were like, "Oh, come back to my house. We'll find something to eat and listen to some music."
Studio,
Which, when you're on tour, like going to hang out at someone's house is just great, instead of like sitting at a venue or a hotel or something. When we first started jamming, when we first came over to Montreal, we didn't know how it was going to work, and instantly it was like bang, it was happening, and we were all like, "Wow, this was great." But I think also the fact that Eric can cut his own records as well, so we've got access to so many sounds that are outside of that like, oh, we play this riff and then someone sings on it and plays guitar on it, and that's it. There's the four walls, the defined kind of thing. And now it's like we'll be grooving on something, and then it's like this harmonica solo comes in or something, or an organ part or a vocal part, and all these different things can come in. And it also, it works in another way as well, where you guys can do the beats and the bass line, which, as being part of a rhythm section, I've always been tied down to, like trying to do one-handed organ solos while I'm trying to hold down the progression as well, and then that totally frees us up, because those guys have got that locked down, and then Miles and I can do, experiment with other textures and weird stuff. Yeah,
it was just, like I said, hand-cut layers, so there's a drum beat, it's 2 copies of the same break, backspun live, and so if you listen to it, there's no samplers or quantization or anything like that. The groove, even on the actual album, slipped a bit, so it's an impossible record to mix. First thing, so as DJs, like, we kind of didn't take that route of being a DJ-friendly album. We just wanted it to rock and have that sort of sludgy blues thing going, so target point for us was always somewhere in between, like something that Black Sabbath fans and Public Enemy fans would both appreciate, So we always kept that in our mind. Well, what would Hank Shockley do if he was producing a Black Sabbath album? You know what I mean? So if we ever came up against some big difficult decision, not that there's ever a difficult decision in the studio, but if it came to that, we'd be like, yeah, what would Public Enemy do, or what would Black Sabbath? So those were our 2 kind of goalposts, so to speak. But we just wanted to make like a heavy records, and it just hit. Some of our skater friends would all like, so that's pretty much what it is. We have 6 turntables on stage, there's 4 Tech 12s and 2 QFOs. And Chris has a bass and keyboard, organ, and Miles has his drum kit and a little noise synth kind of thing. And that's the setup. It's actually pretty straightforward. It's 6 turntables, bass, drums, keyboard. That's it. And then as far as the records that I cut for the show, that has all the separated parts on it. So it'll be
one of those QFOs is connected to the bass as well, which is pretty interesting.
We have it looped through one of the lines, so I can actually transform, cut in and out.
Yeah, because we started doing a lot of jamming, and it was like, what if that went through there? And then so you kind of controlled what I was doing. Yeah, the first time we did that.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ever done this before.
It's fun. No, but oddly enough, after, within 30 seconds of the first track, you got the whole crowd just sort of bobbing.
Yeah.
Which is something I noticed when I went to see them the first time. you know, it was all this that rock scene
Yeah,
set
that's the
of
thing that
Montreal.
people always kind of thought, oh, you know, you're from Wolfmother, it's like every rock stuff's better. Stuff that Miles and I have always played a groove-based thing, you know, whether it's heavy or not. Well, it generally is heavy, but it's always about the feel, you know. Like that's the, I remember we always kind of got the Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath thing. But I was always Black Sabbath. It's like that is the groove. Led Zeppelin's like white man's rock kind of stuff. Like Sabbath has got great feel, and you know I guess that's always the place I came from. You know, always liked that. You know, listening to Beastie Boys stuff, and it's always about the feel.
What's up? This is Kid Koala.
I'm Chris.
We're from the Slew, and you're watching Cut and Paste.